Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast.
This morning, brought to you by our good friends at Tanglewood Greens. Golfed at Tanglewood Greens last week, and guys, if you have not if you have not golfed at Tanglewood Greens, you're missing out. That is a gem over there. But we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But again, happy Friday, TGIF, wrapping up the work week here. Well, we appreciate you making us a part of your start. Whether you are listening on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Also, you can tune in at our website, sportstalk1051.com, WAYYradio.com. Got your smart devices, smart speakers, like your Alexa devices. Got the app, download that, take it on the go too. And, of course, the video stream that is up and rolling right now on YouTube on Man Cave. And I actually have a question. Not a trivia question, just kind of a poll question that I would love for you to check out on the video stream and chime in the chats where Barb's already in there in the Section 105 chat room. Man, we got lots to hit up this morning, don't we? Of course, yesterday, shortly after we get off the air, we get Packers news. Fairly big Packers news. The Packers locking up Christian Watson to a 4-year contract extension, a little over $110 million. So remember, draft, this is the second wide receiver that the Packers have extended this offseason so far. Jaden Reed getting that extension during the draft. And now Tucker Kraft getting that 4-year, $110 million deal. As always, because I've been seeing a lot of fans, a lot of people saying too much money for a guy that is maybe, I'm just saying that this is the reason a lot of people are throwing out there. He gets hurt, he's been hurt, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But when you break it down, all right, when you break it down and when you really look at all the different parts to it, it's a 4-year, $110 million deal. However, it's just a $31 million signing bonus. Remember, we want to look at the guarantees. We want to look at that. This is a contract that seems on the surface, and we'll probably give more details in it and such, but it looks on the surface as a team-friendly deal with a lot of potential playing time incentives in there. The expert himself, Andrew Brandt, who used to do this for the Packers, he even went on social media on Twitter and said, looks very team-friendly compared to yesterday's deal for Drake London. Tough deal to negotiate, potential to be a special player, yet large periods of unavailability. Sets up for large incentive-based for playtime and performance. So I like the deal. I like it. I like the fact that they've locked it up. They got it done. And it seems like it is a playtime, incentive-based contract. I like it. Because we know when Christian Watson is healthy and when he's out there on the field, he is a difference maker. He is the number one wide receiver on this team. He is a complete difference maker. He has all the tools. He's big. He's fast. He's a deep threat. He could go over the middle. He could do the route tree on Christian Watson is probably the best on this team. So, thumbs up. And it still seems like the Packers have plenty more money. Again, it's the guaranteed portion of this contract. Guaranteed money. That's what we have to look at. Don't look at the overall value, okay? Because I know everybody's looking at $110 million and thinking there's a chance he might not even get all that for crying out loud. Look at the guarantee. Look how it breaks down cap hits per year. And by all accounts, the Packers still got some moolah. All right, they still got some moolah to sign Tucker Kraft, to sign a Devontae Wyatt. So I'm curious to see when more details come out and the structures of all this. But Packers fans, I think, you should be happy. You should be good. You should be, thumbs up on this thing, all right? Especially when it seems like there's still more money. There's still more wiggle room. That's what I'm trying to find, the word. The wiggle room to get Tucker Kraft under deal and potentially even Devontae Wyatt. So, but your thoughts. All right, we'll talk some green and gold here this morning. That's part of the game plan. The other part of the game plan, the Brewers fallen yesterday to the Giants, so they end up splitting this series 12-9, although Hamilton nearly hit that home run in the bottom of the ninth there. But Brewers putting up 3 in that bottom of the ninth to try to make it, try to get back in it. Made it interesting towards the end. But, hey, isn't that like baseball? How many times it feels like we've seen this before where it's one game, it's 1-0, and there's hardly anything going on. And then the next day you have a game like this, 12-9. Giants had 20 hits. Brewers had 11 hits in this thing. So, but from the Brewer standpoint, you had Jackson Chourio collecting 3 hits, Yelich with a couple, Terang collecting a couple of hits as well. So, but Coleman Crowe didn't have the day. Just wasn't his day. Going 2 1/3, 9 hits, 6 earned runs. DL Hall 2 1/3, but he's a little bit banged up now. Anderson's apparently a little bit banged up. Woodford came in and just almost was a little bit of a sacrificial lamb at that point. 3 innings and giving up 4 earned runs. So not the day here for the Brewers. Not the day for the Brewers in terms of the pitching staff. So, but we'll talk some Brewers and look ahead to the upcoming series against the Rockies. So. We got that on the docket. We'll talk some Brewers baseball. We'll continue our top 250 countdown. Our top 250 countdown sports moments in America. So we'll get to continue that. We've done 40 already. So after today, it'll be the final 200. So we got 10 more coming your way here this morning. What else do we have on the docket? We won't have Brandon today because Brandon is going over to State Track and Field, so riding solo here. But we will have Dr. Crow. Hopefully the phone works a little bit better than last week. I think we got it figured out, but hopefully it'll work a little bit better. But I definitely want to talk some Micah Parsons with him and such. So Dr. Crow will be joining us in just under an hour, just past 7 o'clock, for a little Inside the Training Room. Brought to you by Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. So, since I'm also riding solo, I'm going to put it on you. I need you guys and gals to be kind of the co-hosts here this morning. Give me some pump the brakes or full throttle questions, and then give me maybe your answers if you want to. All right, so give me a pump the brakes, full throttle question. Hit me up on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912, or again, join in on the Section 105 chat room. All right, so give me some of that. We'll do a little cream of the crop as well, but local sports roundup. We've got last night we had some softball teams clinching their tickets stay. I know Chippewa Falls fell to Marshfield. Baldwin Woodville fell to, sorry guys, but my Medford Raiders too. So, but congrats, Spooner's going. So congrats to a lot of softball teams who have punched their ticket to the state tournament. So, but I know golf, we've got teams that punch their tickets. Baseball playoffs going on too. So, best of luck to everybody that's continuing their season and have continued to advance. The Express, they fell last night on the road to Duluth. But that's kind of your game plan here this morning. So let's pitter-patter, let's get at her, shall we? Let's open it up. We've been talking a lot of baseball, leading things off with baseball quite a bit. So let's switch it up here. and maybe get the conversation flowing here again, because Packers making a move. They extend Christian Watson. I didn't think that maybe this was going to be the case, maybe even last year at the draft. I didn't know if this was going to be possible. And how quickly a year and a half changes things. But your thoughts, your analysis, your opinion on the club deciding to extend Christian Watson, and who would you make it as a priority next? Is it Tucker Kraft? Is it Devontae Wyatt? Is it somebody else I'm not throwing out there that you would like to see? Maybe it's not a big extension, but you'd just like to see them lock him up. Is it somebody like, I'm trying to think, because you can't really do Matthew Golden because of the rookie contracts and such. I'm trying to think of somebody, is it maybe a Zaire Franklin? Edgerrin Cooper might be available. I think Edgerrin Cooper might be eligible after this year. So, yeah, after this year, Edgerrin Cooper would be, I believe, eligible. Don't 100% quote me, but this is his third year. Yeah, so, all right. Maybe we got to start throwing that guy's name into the conversation here, too, like Evan Williams and Javon Bullard after this, too. So, but, all right. Want to hear your thoughts on the signing from the Packers extending Christian Watson. We'll talk some football. We'll take our first break, and then the leadoff coming up after these quick words. New floors, or maybe it's just yourself that you would love to get some new floors in your space. Look no further than our good friends from Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire. All right, check them out, carpetcitywi.com. You could go visit them in store. If you're not even quite sure, hey, I don't know what would look the best or what would fit in my budget and all that stuff. I had questions myself, and their team, so easy to work with, so friendly to work with, so awesome to work with. Just stop in their shop and stop in their store and talk to the team over there, all right? 3109 East Hamilton Avenue in Eau Claire. That's Wisconsin's premier flooring store, Carpet City Flooring Center. All right, let's get things going here this morning on the leadoff. Let's talk some Brewers. All right, let's talk some Pack. I'm just used to talking about the Brewers every morning. I'm just, I'm used to talking about that. Joe is actually good morning. It's game day here in Denver for the crew. Can't wait to watch tonight. We've got another commenter saying good morning. Yeah, well, good morning to everybody on the Section 105 chat. Joe, thanks for, I know you're in Colorado watching the Brew Crew, so thanks for still making us a part of your start here this morning. We'll get to some Brewers chat here in a little bit, but we got to talk a little Christian Watson with the news that the Packers extending him to a 4-year, $110 million deal. Let's just get this out of the way right away, okay? We knew this was going to be a lightning rod of a topic to begin with. We knew this was before this became official. All the speculation, all the talks about it, we knew that this was going to be, almost kind of divided. I don't know if it's necessarily 50-50, but you would have a big chunk of the fan base that would not be in favor of a massive extension for Christian Watson because of his availability, right? I mean, facts are facts. He has been hurt. Whether it's been hamstrings, whether it's been ACLs, the guy's been dinged up. That's the facts, and we can't argue that. But what also is a fact is when Christian Watson is on the field and he is playing, this offense is completely different. Completely different offense. Anybody who has watched Packers games and has followed Packers games knows this. They know it. I mean, he opens up the offense. He is a incredibly critical element to Matt LaFleur's offense, to this Packers offense. He opens up so many different things, whether it's the deep passing game, whether it's, Christian Watson, I think, too, is an incredibly, what doesn't get talked enough about, in my opinion, about Christian Watson is his blocking in the running game, too. And we know that is, what's the quote from Matt LaFleur? If you want the rock, you got to block. And I know that was kind of mostly used out there with Allen Lazard and that, but Christian Watson, I think, is an underrated blocker, or it doesn't get talked enough about that element of his game. But he opens the door for everybody else. A lot of the offense runs through number 9, runs through Christian Watson. And when he's not out there, we have seen it time and time again. When he's been banged up and he's not out there, the offense is just not the same. And I know over the last few years, there was always kind of the debate. Do the Packers have a number 1 wide receiver? Do they need a number 1 wide receiver? Is it wide receiver by committee? And while he may not lead the team in like statistics and such, Christian Watson is the number 1 wide receiver because of all the different things that he can do and just how important he is to the team overall. I mean, just kind of, look at, these are some of the numbers here too. Christian Watson from week 8 to the wild card round this past year. This is where he ranked when he was back out on the field. 5th in touchdown catches, 3rd in yards per catch, 10th yards per route run, 5th in passer rating when targeted, 8th in contested catches, 2.6% drop rate, 5th best in the NFL. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that when he played last year, it was clearly evident he was the number 1 wide receiver, and he was a go-to target, and he's got big play ability. I understand the concern from some people out there about, okay, but you're still paying money to a guy that's been injured before, and I understand it. Those are facts that we can't get away from. But part of these contracts, too, is, you'll hear some people say, well, contracts are more for, what you expect the player to do. And yes, that is 100% true. But there is also an element where, okay, but they're also getting these contracts because of what they've kind of shown in the past year too. And I think that's where a lot of the concern is from some fans, like, well, some of the stuff that he has shown in the past is his inability to be available. And what do we always say is kind of the top thing? You have to be available in the world of sports. Availability. And that's why I think when you look at some of the details that have already been out regarding this contract, I think one number to kind of focus on here is the signing bonus. It's $31 million signing bonus. And considering where wide receiver contracts have been going here in these last couple of years, and you really look at those numbers, I think this is a team-friendly deal, but it also gives Watson the ability to make a boatload of cash. To me, it's kind of a win-win on both sides. And I know Andrew Brandt, and again, he is the expert in this. And his tweet from yesterday about this, and this is where I think a lot of fans should go to, is he said it looks very team-friendly, friendly compared to Drake London's deal. A tough deal to negotiate, potential to be a special player, yet large periods of unavailability. Sets up for a large incentive based for playtime and performance. And I think, that's the key here too, is that if this deal is in fact very focused on playtime and incentives, that's a win for both sides. Christian Watson's betting on himself, and the Packers, too, are betting on him to be able to hit those incentives. And Watson, let's give Watson some credit here, too. Watson didn't have to sign that deal. He didn't have to. He could have said, no, I want more guaranteed money. I don't necessarily want incentives. I want my money now. I want all this guaranteed money. He didn't have to do that. But he did. And when you kind of look at some of those numbers, the guaranteed portion, like Tom Silverstein, who covers the Packers, noted, not a crazy amount of money given the escalation of wide receiver salaries. It puts Watson at about 15th in the NFL in average receiver salary. If total guarantee is $31 million, it ranks in the 20s among receivers in the NFL. So if that is the guarantee, that's 31's fully guaranteed and that's it, you're talking about in the 20s. 20s in the NFL. 15th average salary in the NFL, where you're seeing a lot of receivers trying to outdo the other in terms of money, whether it's per year or total guaranteed or total value over the length of a contract. So when you look at those numbers, don't necessarily just focus on, I know it's everybody wants to focus on the $110 million. Look at it look at the guaranteed money, look at the incentives portion of it, and look at it compared to other contracts across the league. And to me, when I see all that and just knowing how valuable and how important Watson is to this offense, I like this deal. And I think Packers should be very happy about this deal. And kudos to Watson, I think, too, and his side. Because, again, they didn't have to sign it. They could have really said, nah, you know what we're going to do? We're going to play this year, and we're going to enter free agency next year and potentially get top 5 money. But maybe it was smart on Watson's camp, too. It's like, okay, maybe get a little bit more security. It's an example of two sides working together to find that negotiation and finding that common ground and working out a deal instead of having some drama around it. Now, okay, so you got Jayden Reed locked up. You've got Christian Watson locked up. Matthew Golden is under his rookie deal. Those 3 receivers now are under control for the Packers for at least the next 3 years. You don't have to worry about that for your top 3 receivers. That doesn't mean you avoid adding depth in the draft in that. But you got those 3 locked up. And now you kind of look at who's next on the priority list. I think it's Tucker Kraft. I think it's I want both Tucker Kraft and Devontae Wyatt locked up, extended, whatever you want to call it. But I think next on the priority list is going to be Tucker Kraft. And Tucker Kraft, what to me is going to also be interesting because he is coming off the ACL. But again, we know how good he is when he's on the field. We saw it last year. We saw that big leap from Tucker Kraft last year. He's a great receiving tight end. He is a great blocking tight end. He is the multi-tool tight end, right? Heck, he even does tight end sneaks. Okay? I get it. There's going to be, at least from fans, apprehension about he's coming off of an ACL to give him a big deal. Now, maybe ideally it would be something similar to the Christian Watson deal where there's going to be incentives and playtime incentives. But I think, to me, Tucker Kraft is the next in line to try to lock him up. And I know it's a lot of offensive players recently that they've been doing. Sean Ryan, you throw in early in here, Jayden Reed, Christian Watson, and now it's going to be another contract to Tucker Kraft. But I also look at defensive line compared to tight end depth. And right now, outside of Tucker Kraft, I'm not sold on Lucas Musgrave to be a full-time starter. I had the chance. I think he could be a nice receiving receiver, but he's a 2 or a 3. He's not a starter. It's just not. So I want to lock up Tucker Kraft for the next few years, have that position figured out, especially when, it's not as easy to just say, hey, let's go draft a tight end, and that's going to be the replacement. Historically, over the years, we have seen where those tight ends, rookie tight ends, it might take a little bit. Not a lot of them make big-time impacts unless you're like Brock Bowers, okay? But that's the exception and not the norm. And while it's not, I would argue, the greatest depth for the Packers defensive line, at least they got a couple of other bodies in there. So, again, I want both Devontae Wyatt and Tucker Kraft, but I think if I had to pick between the two in terms of a priority, I'm probably going Tucker Kraft. But they got money for both. But I think they also have to start seriously thinking after this season and looking at some dudes who are going to be up for a contract extension. Edgerrin Cooper, Evan Williams. You throw in Javon Bullard. Those guys, right? Those guys are going to be, that's something because they're going to be finishing up their third year. They're not first rounders, so you don't have the fifth year option. So they're going to be entering their fourth year and probably going to be looking for some more moolah. And I think we could all agree Edgerrin Cooper and Evan Williams deserve more moolah. They deserve bigger contracts. They are key figures to this defense. And not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but I also think you kind of look, and I don't know what the Josh Jacobs situation is going to be like. Let's say he plays, but regardless, I think he's gone after this year because of the cap space and cap number. Maybe it could be a little restructured, but you're going to have those type of difficult decisions. Aaron Banks on there too. So it'll work out. They've got this plan. It's not like they're just kind of taking it day by day. There's going to be cap space open for guys like Edgerrin Cooper and Evan Williams. And those are just a couple names that could be off the books after this year. Might be a little bit of a dead cap hit, absolutely. But it'll open up some space for those guys too. Russ Ball, Goody, that entire set, they know what the heck they're doing. And I'm not concerned about them not being able to lock up Tucker or Edgerrin Cooper and Evan Williams in the future. Your thoughts, hit us up. Text me on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912, or you can join in on the Section 105 chat. We got to take a quick break. Back with plenty more coming up after these quick words. Automotive Services. So, again, check out their website, ajmautomotiveservices.com, to schedule your appointments. We've got a couple texts to get to here. Don't forget, you can still join in. Even we are doing the program from the Casper Cave here this morning. You can still hang out with us in the Section 105 chat. I've got a question up on the video stream. All right, I'm still waiting for some people to answer. It's not a trivia question. It's just an opinion question, all right? So, but we've got C-Bomb that had chimed in saying Watson doesn't change the offense. He makes it unstoppable. If you're complaining about this extension, save it until Tuesday so I could grind my gears on you. Brandon's mom also, let me bring it up. Brandon's mom also chiming in here this morning saying, Lord, did it go? Good morning, Watson. Happy about the extension. Funny story. Rocky bought me his jersey for Christmas. I made him take it back because he was always hurt and didn't think he would be around. Have a great weekend, all. Go Brewers. So good. That's funny. Continue to send us your thoughts on the Christian Watson extension for the Pack. Text it 715-830-1912 or again, the Section 105 chat room on our YouTube video stream. So we're going to talk some Brewers coming up a little bit later on here, too, as the Crew falling to the Giants yesterday. So that 4-game series after the Brewers won the first two, they've fallen the last two. So split that 4-game series, and now they're on the road to take on the Rockies. But we'll talk some Brewers coming up here in just a little bit. But a couple more messages to get to here on the Watson news. Another texter, don't have a name, can't give you any credit, but said that they like the signing. Agree when you really look at it and compare it to other receivers out there on the market, it seems to be a team-friendly deal. Another texter, Ben, says Christian Watson, because I was going to read a Tucker Kraft thing. Christian Watson makes this offense click. He is a huge and crucial part. I understand the concern about his injury history, but he seemed to have turned a corner last year after recovering from his ACL injury. And people forget, the year prior, when he was coming off those hamstring injuries, he seemed to have turned the corner there. Can't fault him for an ACL tear. I would agree with that. Here, put it in this perspective, too. Christian Watson, in terms of guaranteed money, to 31, if that's all that's guaranteed, the signing bonus. He'll be 26 in terms of guaranteed money. That's behind guys like Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, Calvin Ridley, Travis Hunter, and Romeo Doubs. Romeo Doubs, former Packer, has more guaranteed money than Christian Watson. Now, Christian Watson could potentially make more, but in terms of guaranteed money, that sure seems like a bargain, a team-friendly deal. I like this signing, and to be honest with you, I'm really surprised that they got this thing done with those, of the numbers that are available, of the contract numbers that are available for us to kind of banter about and talk about. I think Green Bay hit a home run on this one. I won't bear the headline. You could call it hot take, call it overreaction. I don't care, but I think this is a heck of a deal by Green Bay. And I don't want to downplay it too that it's a good deal for Watson too, because he is going to, if hits those incentives, yeah, he's going to get a nice chunk of change. I like it. I like the deal a lot. So, and we got more money for the likes of Tucker Kraft, Devontae Wyatt, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's Tucker Kraft. I think that's the next one that you try to focus on and try to get done. And I do wonder if Green Bay would like to get this thing done before the season, and kind of with the approach that let's get it done now. So in case he does go out there and ball out, which we're all hoping, and the Packers are hoping that he goes out there and balls out. But if he goes out there and balls out and he finishes this upcoming season without a contract extension, you know what that means? Price tag goes up. Goes up a lot. And I think this was also part of the incentive, the motivation for Green Bay to get this deal done too, was, okay, Watson goes out there and let's say he gets 1,000 yards, double-digit touchdowns, and makes, but yeah, his numbers are going to go up too. I mean, look at what Romeo Doubs. No offense to Romeo Doubs, but I mean, for crying out loud, the dude got a big contract from the Patriots too, and he necessarily wasn't maybe viewed as a legit number one receiver. Wide receiver markets are crazy. So for this deal, I think it's a good one. It's a good one for the team. But I think Green Bay would like to get this Tucker Kraft one done before the season or a little bit into the season. Because, and this is something Green Bay has done historically over the years. Devontae Adams, Jordy Nelson, et cetera, et cetera. Locking guys up right before they maybe head into that final year where they're going to get a bunch of cash. Remember the Devontae Adams one when it was like Ted Thompson's final deal? Locked up Devontae Adams. If he would have hit that market, dude would have gotten paid more. Now, he's gotten paid since. There's no question about it, but he would have gotten paid more. And Green Bay knows this. They've historically have done this how many times, right? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. So I feel like, yeah, they're really going to try to get this thing done before the season or maybe shortly after the season begins. They're not going to let Tucker Kraft hit the market, and I don't think they want to approach the offseason still trying to figure out a Tucker Kraft deal. And they don't want to use a franchise tag either. All right, continue your thoughts, though. I want to hear from you this morning on this TGIF. We'll take a quick break, and we'll start to wrap up the first hour. We'll be back after these quick words. Also had done. So hopefully phones work a little bit better. I think it'll be fine. I think it's just kind of maybe cuts in and out with a little internet connection and such. So, but anyways, Dr. Croak coming up just past 7 o'clock for a little Inside the Training Room. Again, if you're dealing with some of those aches and pains, especially you weekend warriors out there, it's that time of year. make your appointment with our good friends at Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, and maybe even our good doc, Dr. Austin Crow. Just head to cvosm.com for more details and to make your appointments. Brewers, last night, yesterday afternoon, falling to the San Francisco Giants, 12-9. Brewers made it interesting in the ninth inning there, but just fell a little bit short. David Hamilton almost had. It seemed like those balls were really like juiced up yesterday too. If you were kind of following along with the game in that, but it seemed like they were a little, little extra. I don't know, a little extra something in them. But so the Brewers end up splitting the series with the Giants. But yesterday, not the greatest day for Coleman Crow. He had a chance to maybe go out there and make another really good impression, maybe even stay with the ball club a little bit longer, and he probably is, with some of the injuries and such. But just 2 1/3 for Coleman Crow, giving up 9 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. One of those days that just didn't have it. Just wasn't on for whatever reason. But, outside of the loss, when you look at this, now you had a couple of injuries. You had a couple of injuries yesterday from the pitching staff. And DL Hall dealing with a little bit of an issue. You had Grant Anderson also dealing with some issues. So that's going to be something to maybe monitor here. We obviously they've kind of avoided it for the most part when it comes to their bullpen. Some of their pitching injuries have mostly been to their starters, but now you got guys in the bullpen that you kind of wonder about maybe some new calls. One guy that we really haven't talked a lot about, and a couple of years ago, last year, he was like the next really good bullpen option for the Brewers was Craig Yoho. And we got to see him a little bit for the major leagues and such, but I don't know, or maybe potentially maybe we'll get to see him here with some of the injuries here. But Grant Anderson, he did have his X-rays were negative. He will travel with the team to Denver and attempt to play catch tomorrow. But he got hit in a line drive in the forearm, and if you follow Adam McCulvey on Twitter, you can see a picture, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a big old bruise right there. DL Hall. Pec discomfort. I'm going to ask Dr. Crow about that because you mostly hear pec issues when it comes to like football and such. So, but maybe kind of keep an eye on that. And DL Hall is a guy too that he can eat some innings. So, Jackson Chourio though, not a bad day for the kid. Yesterday, multi-home run game. So Jackson Chourio having himself a day. 3 hits, 2 home runs, and 4 at-bats for the Crew. When you look at his numbers so far now for Jackson Chourio this year, 308 batting average, 4 home runs, 16 RBIs, 33 hits. Obviously missed a big portion of the season right before opening day. So Jackson Chourio playing well from the offensive side of the plate here. In fact, in his last 25 at-bats, Jackson Chourio is hitting .400 with a slugging of .840 and an on-base percentage of .500. In his last 15 games, he is hitting .310 with a .534 slugging and a .394 on-base percentage. So, Chourio hitting well. In fact, the top 4 in this lineup, Yelly, Chourio, Turang, and I know Contreras wasn't, he had Sanchez in there, but those 4, I like those 4 at the top of that lineup. You throw a little Vaughn in there too. I know he hasn't hit with a ton of power. Then you throw a little Bowers in there. Like I feel good. I don't know about the rest of you, but I feel good about that top 4, 5, 6, whatever you want to say for the lineup. Could they have a little bit more power in that 5th, 6th spot? Sure, why not? Nothing wrong with that. It's the bottom of that lineup. And that's where I need my guy, Sal Frelick. All right, I need him to continue to play with a little bit more confidence at the plate here. Okay, he needs to get a little bit better. He's slowly getting up there. He collected another hit yesterday. but we need more. When 5 at-bats, we need a little bit more. I know in his last 24 ABs, he's up to 250, but sadly, baby, we got to get it up there just a skosh more, okay? So, all right, shot clock's going to cut me off here. So we've got news updates, and then coming up, we'll do a little inside the training room with Dr. Austin Crowe. We'll talk some Micah Parsons and throw a little DL Hall talk in there, too. So lots to catch up on with Dr. Austin Crowe. Top 250 countdown will continue next hour as well. Continue to send me your thoughts on Christian Watson, and we'll look ahead to Brewers Rockies, all right? Send me some pump the brakes, full throttle questions and some riding solo here today, too. Text them on over or comment on the video stream. News updates. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.